Hello, everyone, and welcome to the premiere episode of the Champions Network. I'm your host, Jason Rambo, alongside my co-host, David Radulovich, and from the Dead Pair podcast, my partner in crime, more crime than partner, my large mammal friend, Mr. Sean Alley. What's up, Sean?
Well, this is exciting. Something new.
I know, right? Yep. We are missing our third wheel of the Champions Network, Miss Julia Gilman. Julia had to attend to some family matters, so we let Sean strap her high heels on. It was quite comical today, and he's trying to fill her shoes and help out a little bit. Best wishes to Julia and her family. David, how many years? I mean, you were basically born here. How many years have you been coming to the Nationals now?
I believe this is my 25th or 26th Nationals.
Holy cow.
That's a bunch.
This is my fourth, and this is what, Sean, your third?
Yes. Yeah. I had to miss the one.
Lots of changes have happened to the grounds here. We're here in the Hal DuPont Hall of Fame Museum. Very thankful to the NSCA for letting us borrow this for the next 4 days.
Yes.
But we've got some exciting things coming up. But, Sean, let's talk real quick about the grounds. I mean, lots of changes. They've concreted Vendor Row now, so we don't have that muddy nightmare. They've kind of moved some courses around. Things are looking pretty good.
Yeah, I would say the biggest improvement that I noticed was obviously the concrete skirt that they extended out on Vendor Row. For those of you who were here last year, that was an absolutely atrocious, muddy mess. They have torn all that up, put brand new concrete down all the way out to the start of the trap line. So basically you've got a concrete highway from one end of Vendor Row to the other, which should keep things nice and dry and, not as messy as things that have gone in the past when things get muddy.
Right. Well, now that they've concreted that, David, it'll probably never rain again.
Yeah, it never will.
Right. David, all the years you've been coming here, you probably noticed a bunch of changes running around today.
Yeah. To be fair, I didn't notice a single one because I was pretty focused today.
For those of you, you can't see there's got to be Sean, probably 2 miles of cable laying here on the floor, I think.
This is quite the endeavor. Small space shuttle launch could probably be handled by all of this, but Elon Musk would be impressed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So looking at the leaderboard real quick, Brandon Powell right now is currently in the lead. Just for those at home, just a quick reminder, there are 4 courses, 75 birds per course. Brandon only dropped 1 today. He's in a 74. And then tied for second place is Turner Parcell and our very own David Radulovich, who's not touched a gun since July. They're both locked in with a 73. Austin Kimstead is at a 72. And then we've got 3 people tied with a 71, Corey Cruz, Anthony Matarese, and Gebben Miles. Can you believe this guy over here next to us hasn't touched a gun since July, and he went out there and shot today and only dropped 2 targets?
Yes and no. The reason I say that...
Tell me why yes first.
Well, okay, so let's take the person like David who's been shooting since he was knee-high to a grasshopper.
I think he was conceived.
Sean, I paid you to make me look really good. You're going in the wrong direction.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so David is a wonderful shot, and no, I'm just kidding. Listen, he is a wonderful shot, but when you've shot as much as David has, he's got a lot of memory to pull from, a lot of an encyclopedia to pull from, and even if you haven't shot for a very long time, let's face it, David, it's like riding a bicycle, right? I mean, it's the same gun you've been shooting for the last, 15, 20 years?
Yeah, I think... I got this gun in 2015.
Yeah, all right, so 10 years, if nothing else.
Or 2016, yeah.
Yeah, so it's almost 10 years you've been shooting the same gun. It's not like you've never shot before in a high-profile event. Like the Nationals. This is something you do all the time.
I've done a few of them.
It's just it really boils down to what we keep talking about over and over again on our other outlet, that it's a mental game. Being in the right frame of mind, making sure that you're reading the targets correctly, making sure that you're making a good plan, and then obviously attacking that plan, making the right movements, and hopefully the clay will bust.
So why didn't you believe?
Why didn't I believe?
You said yes and no.
Well, no. So I've seen the not so serious side of David, and I've told him that many times. It seems like every time I get an opportunity to shoot with him, he wants to goof off and show off and do trick shots and stuff like that. And again, I know that he was doing that because of that, but he really can buckle down and shoot. And obviously, he was in the right mental space to run up a number like that.
We're gonna let the cat out of the bag. Just tell everybody what you told David at the end of Nationals last year. Do you remember this?
I feel bad even saying that.
Was that on a podcast or was
No,
it
we were getting ready to go to dinner. The three of us went to dinner that night,
Yeah.
Sunday night, and it was in the parking lot.
That's right.
And I meant no disrespect.
I lost my mind. I thought it was the funniest thing I've ever
I meant
heard.
no disrespect by saying it.
Yeah, so everyone, David actually put effort into the Nationals last year, and he shot really well. It was incredible to see the level of focus that he had. And we get in the parking lot, and Sean goes, David, you really can get serious and shoot good.
He said, no, it wasn't even that. It was, he goes, that was the first time I really actually got to see you, shoot. And I was, kind of surprised. You really can shoot.
Yeah, I did. I mean, because every time I've shot with David, it's been like a 3-ring circus.
Well, I mean, you don't think he paid someone for his world championship or something, do you?
It's not that. But again, I just hadn't witnessed it live myself. So it was actually very, and I meant that in a compliment because it was refreshing to see. I know that he has the talent. I know he has the ability. It was just refreshing to actually see him put himself into that and then really watch what he could do. Yeah. It was impressive.
Well, hey, listen, getting back to the scores, right now in the ladies division, so Grace Corselli's leading with a 69. Desi Edmonds and Karen Miles are tied with a 68. And then back from a little hiatus, Annabelle Eilers is sitting in fourth place with a 67. And then Abigail Chambers is sitting at a 66. So looks like the ladies is going to be a tight race to the end. Let me flip over here to the juniors. And you got to forgive me now. I know there were some people that have shot the main event over the weekend, the 2-day main event. We're just talking about the 4-day rotation right now. So, look at this, man. Tons of good junior shooters. Look at some of these scores, Sean Alley.
Oh, yeah. Most of them are in the 60s there. A couple 70s I see. So.
Yeah, but looking at the four-day rotation, so Turner Purcell, obviously, tied with David Radulovich at 73. He's leading the juniors right now. Yeah, that's what you were
on the same squad?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
I really like Turner. He's a really good guy. Really fun. He's really worked hard. At least I've heard, and I can see it in the connectedness of his move and like how beautifully smooth and refined that it is. I want to mention something that's actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
Who knows if this will end up the same way? But the podium at the World Sporting Championship earlier this year is exactly 1, 2, and 3 right now for this shoot.
Yeah,
and
really.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it was Brandon, David, and Turner.
Okay,
so,
okay.
But yeah, so in the junior division, Turner is leading right now with a 73. Grayson Ponder and Brad Sutton Jr. are tied with a 72. Brody Souza's at a 71, and Todd Hitch rounds out the top 5 with a 70 in the junior division. Sean, we watched Ethan Starks, and I was looking at his score here. He's tied right now in 6 with Cody James. We watched him shooting earlier today, and I was talking to his mom, and she told me, she's like, he's not been practicing, he's full out of college and got a real job now and not been able to touch the gun, so it's good to see him turn up a number. David, are we getting any questions coming in?
We got one that says, who's this guy to the left of Sean?
To the left. You got us reversed?
What?
You got us reversed or something?
Well, that's how cameras work. I'm not sure if you know how.
This guy, who invited him, right? So, who's this guy to the left of Sean? So, are you sitting left of Sean on camera, or am I?
No, you are.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm the sexy one. I don't know if you look at these other two meatheads, but I'm the sexy one. So, hey, it's my lie. I'll tell
Nothing
it how I
changes.
Want. It's my lie. I'll tell it how I want.
That's fine. You're welcome to do so.
So, do we have any legit questions yet, David?
We have some guys. We have some people wanting to know what the schedule is for today.
For this broadcast?
Mm-hmm.
So basically, you're looking at it. We are going to do a live Q&A here. If you guys got any questions for me, David, or Sean, or anything that we're going to be doing over the next 3 days, feel free to ask. We'll be more than happy. If one of us 3 idiots can't answer the question, we'll get it answered for the next broadcast. But Hey, that's another thing, too. When we have Neil on, we ought to open up the comment section again and let people ask him a question or two.
Yeah, the comments will always be up. So here's what we're going to do. So tonight was supposed to be Neil. It was supposed to be – well, the other thing we can do is I can run this I have plenty of pre-recorded interviews. I've got pre-recorded interviews.
Do you have the one from Steve Ellinger?
Yeah, I got that one.
Oh, my gosh. You guys are going to love this.
Yeah, we got some cool – we got plenty of content that we have that we can run. But we had some changes in the schedule because trying to get people on, an episode where you're in the middle of the busiest, basically 4 days of the year for them is hard, and you got to respect that. Except for any of the pros that didn't decide to show up, I don't respect that at all.
Well, you got to remember the Hall of Fame.
They're just afraid, They don't think they're afraid I'm going to get into their head.
They're afraid of David.
Yeah. So. What they really are is they don't want to make me look too bad.
Yeah. Oh, okay, gotcha.
I got to be careful. But no, so I'm just totally joking.
The Hall of Fame banquet's
Hall of Fame banquet
too,
is tonight, which is really cool. And I hate to admit this, that I don't know who's being inducted. Do you guys know?
Yes, the one gentleman passed away in September. Was being inducted tonight, and forgive me, I don't remember his name. I apologize. I've probably talked to 50 people today that introduced themselves for the first time, and I'm not good with names. But yeah, he unfortunately he was being inducted to the Hall of Fame, and he passed away in September. So, but yeah, that's where most of the pro shooters are tonight. But so David, I would like to play the footage you got with me and Steve Ellinger earlier. Yeah. This is a real treat. Now, anybody that listens to the Dead Pair podcast, we did an episode with Steve Ellinger, who's working really hard to bring a lot of artifacts to the museum, specifically for sporting clays, and he had a real treat. Unfortunately, he had to run. He had to be part of the ceremonies tonight at the Hall of Fame. So, but we did get to sit down and record that with him. I'd like for everybody to look at this. What is it? Probably 2-3 minutes at the most. But he's got something really cool, real good treat for you guys. David, can you roll that?
Yeah, I can roll that.
All right, y'all sit tight. Let me know when you're ready, David.
I just got right here.
Well, listen, y'all sit tight. Watch this. We're not going anywhere. We'll be right here. Check this out. You're going to love it.
Yeah, before I do roll this, what I do want to say, even though the camera isn't on me, I should put the camera on me real quick. Let me I'll do my little sneaky thing.
Little sneaky thing.
We found some kid out there, working on and so we paid him a couple Snickers and a Red Bull to be able to roll the camera for us. But so apart from today just being a Q&A, the other thing it is that we're going to also kind of talk about what this whole Champions Network is, because obviously whoever came up with the marketing is really a fan of weird cryptic things, and nobody really understands what was going on. I don't know why you guys are looking at me, but no. So so we're going to lay that out and give you a good insight into what it is. We're going to talk to you guys about what our plan is for the future and kind of what we want to bring to you guys. The other thing on top of that is that we also need to and want to hear from you all on what it is that you would like to have, because part of the whole purpose of this is to bring the game to those of you who can't come to it yourselves. And so we look at it as that, we are the employees and you guys are our bosses. So we need to have some tasks for us to accomplish and do so that we can bring to you what it is that you would like. So anyways, we're going to roll with the Steve Ellinger thing, and then we should be good to go. Adios.
All right, everyone. Very honored, very privileged. I've caught up with Mr. Steve Ellinger. Now, Steve, for those that didn't catch the episode we did over on the Dead Pair podcast, can you tell everyone what you and your team are doing here at the Hal DuPont Hall of Fame Museum?
Absolutely, Jason. Of course, this sport has a history that goes back many, many years. And we feel like that there's a lot of interesting aspects about everything about clay target shooting. And so what we are doing, the Hall of Fame, and that is co-chaired by myself and Phil Murray, we are discussing that history and putting it out there for people to see.
Well, Steve, there's some exciting things coming. I know we talked about you're going to actually expand a wing onto the museum. strictly for sporting clays. This museum, when it was started, sporting clays wasn't even in our country, and this is mainly skeet in the building. But now, because of all the artifacts and all the history you're gathering for sporting clays, you're running out of room.
Well, of course, we have 90 years or so of skeet and a lot of great history and a lot of great clay target legends in that. But we have sporting now.
Right.
And so we need to be able to add on to this museum. And so hopefully in the next couple of years, you're going to see some construction out here and you're going to see a new wing on this museum.
So since the podcast, have you had a lot of people reach out to you? Do they have some artifacts and stuff they're trying to get to you for the museum?
Jason, after that podcast that we did previously, I probably had more than a dozen people contact me and said, thank you for doing this. By the way, we have this or we have that, and would you be interested? And I said, of course. We want to show this history.
That's awesome. Well, speaking of history, we've got a really unique piece here. Can you tell us what it is that you're holding? Because this is just beyond amazing.
Well, one of those phone calls resulted in what I'm holding right here, right now. This is an Perazzi MX410, but it was owned by President George H.W. Bush, 41.
President Senior. George Senior, yeah.
President George Senior, yes. And this was his personal Perazzi that he used because, of course, it's an absolutely stunningly beautiful shotgun.
Yes.
But it still has presidential fouling in the barrel, and it has where you can tell he has carried it and used it. So this is not just a gift that was a wall hanger or a display or a safe queen. This was actually used by George H.W. Bush.
Now, did he use this for hunting or for clays or both? Or do you
A little
know?
bit of both, and the Bushes were clay target shooters, but it was primarily for hunting, but he busted clays with it as well.
Wow, that is a beautiful gun. If we can get David here to zoom in on that. Look at, the wood, the engraving, just absolutely gorgeous. But the significance behind it is who owned it, right?
Absolutely. Of course, the gun in itself is a pretty high-dollar, high-end shotgun. But the fact it was owned by a president of the United States basically makes it priceless.
Yeah, for sure. Well, this is really cool. Is there anything else new coming in that you know of that you could tease us with?
Oh, absolutely. We have a number of shotguns coming in that are notable in their history. People like to look at those. And so we have Kim Rohde's gun coming in. We have a Robert Pack's gun we just put in here. And, of course, we have Bush's gun. And, of course, we have a number of firearms that have their place in history.
Yeah.
And so we're looking forward to that. Or we're bringing some more Hall of Famers guns in here. So you're going to see some changes even in what we have in here now over the next few months.
That's awesome. So if somebody wants to reach out to you, of course, like I said, we did a podcast over on the Dead Pair podcast with you. We got some information there. But if anybody's watching this and it's like, hey, I've got Dad's shotgun or Grandpa's old trap machine or something like that, how do people get a hold of you to
Well, I'm going to give you my number here in just a minute, but what we're looking for are artifacts of notoriety, something that is really unusual, the first trophy of the first event, or a celebrity's shotgun such as Robert Stack or something such as this, or a shooting vest that was used by somebody in competition back in 1930 or 40. Things such as that we are always looking for. And if you have something like that, please give me a call. My cell number is 325-669-7555, and I would love to visit with you.
That's awesome. Well, listen, everyone, I'm telling you, if you haven't been here to the museum here in San Antonio at the National Shooting Complex, you're really doing yourself a disservice. Steve, Phil, his whole team has worked very hard to get some really cool, interesting pieces in here. I'm excited to see the new Sporting Clays wing get added on. And Steve, this is amazing. Thank you for spending a few minutes with us and showing us this incredible piece.
Our pleasure.
Well, I hope you all enjoyed that. How cool, the gun that was owned by one of our presidents, owned and shot and used, not just a wall piece,
Right.
So, I got a comment on Super Goose here in the chat. This is awesome. The guy that came up with the marketing got dropped on his head. I'll have to agree with that. I think there's some truth to that.
Might be a few loose screws up there, possibly, but
Yeah.
But there's always that with people with genius. So,
Wait a minute, that's a little too far.
oh well, you didn't know what your $20 was buying, did you, David?
Well, it was
That was a good callback right there.
it was left out somehow or another on our website, but David Radulovich comes with a lot of warning labels. So, but no, I know it was kind of cryptic get going there, but this Champions Network is something that we feel the sport has needed for a long time. and it's something that David and Julie and I are really truly believe in and working hard towards. And we want to be able to bring you raw action, raw interviews from events, so you can. We want to put the event in your living room. If you can't be there, we want you to be there. And it's not going to be through a lens. You know what I mean? Am I saying that right, David? When I say raw, I mean you're going to get what's there. You're not going to get just somebody's opinion on it. So this is something we feel it's been needed. It's been tried in other forms and fashion in the past, but I don't think we've ever truly had this ever in the sport. I mean, I know the PSCA did it to some magnitude, but that was all recorded, and the events came out months after it happened. I know they're doing the Pro Squad live, but this is something we're going to try to be at least 5 events next year. We're trying to add some more venues to that, but I think it's something that's going to be fun, and I think a lot of people are wanting to see this.
Well, and the big thing is it's live. I mean, there's no waiting. Right. That's the whole key to this whole idea, and I think you guys are right on the money with it. Seriously.
Yeah, over the as we grow, the coverage of there's only a major shoot 5 to 7 times a year, but we're not going to, it's not just going to be 5 to 7 times a year that we're going to be doing this for a week straight. The goal is to have very consistent content and then also feature the shoots that we go to. Because the whole purpose of this, the big thing is, side mission is let's try to grow the sport and, basically showcase it to people, allow people to find it, gain interest in it through exposure to it and curiosity, and increase participation across the country or the world, whatever, in the NSCA or tournaments or just the local clubs. But on top of that, the real focus that we're trying to create is, bringing together a community of people that really can, enjoy each other on here, get on, meet friends. If you've had a chance to check it out yet, and you've created an account on the website, first off, if you find something that doesn't work or you can't figure out what's going on, send us an email. I coded the whole thing in between teaching and a trip in Montana where I had heavy service in the Nationals, and it was pushed together quickly. But the goal is to make it as good and user friendly and helpful and engaging as we can. So we like feedback, and it's still going to be growing and evolving. But the goal is to create a place where we can all come watch the shoots. Eventually, as we grow this a little bit bigger, we would like to be able to have people out there filming, so that way, we can have not necessarily exactly live coverage during the event, but like maybe an hour or so afterwards, and then be able to have commentary and other guys on and talk about their rounds, play them videos, very similar to what you see in other sports. So it's growing and it's building, but we need your help, we need your feedback, and we need your engagement and participation. So that's the best thing that we can have from you guys now, other than questions would be good.
Yeah, and let me just say that, I know we teased David about being a little cryptic, but the guy sacrificed a lot to do this. So, publicly, David, I want to thank you.
Thank you guys.
And
look,
Julia. He pulled out of all the events except for the main here at the Nationals, and he's been locked up in the bedroom at the VRBO for the last 48 hours with 2 miles of cable and monitors set up and working on programming and stuff. And I'm sure it's not going to be perfect. We've already had an audio glitch. We're working through it. Another thing, too, that I'm excited about, and this is something I think we've needed for a really long time, is on Sunday after the event, we're going to try and do a press conference, top 3 men, top 3 ladies. Now, we tried this at the U.S. Open. Unfortunately, we were in a room that was really echoey. We didn't have the right equipment. We worked really hard on that. We're going to try and make that better. And the cool thing about that, and this is where David was talking about that interaction with you folks at home, you're going to be able to ask questions. And, we can throw the questions at those top 3 people that are, during that press conference. So it's going to be like you're talking to the winners themselves, right? So this isn't just something you're going to see on TV. This is something that you can be a part of. And we want everybody to be a part of it. We're trying to build a community as well as a live broadcast. So
yeah, well, and again, hats off to David, because if anybody could really see what's behind the cameras, I mean, this is an amazing amount of technology, and I mean, the work that has gone into this is mind-boggling.
I haven't quite figured out how to work it yet, to be honest.
I'll take a couple pictures with my cell phone before we tear down tonight.
Well,
and throw them up on medias for everybody to see.
And let's be honest, this is a good kind of dry run to kind of just test some things out without being under the gun, and hopefully you guys will be patient as we work through this and we kind of figure out how all this gear is going to work. We need your feedback, obviously, to make sure that things sound right, the video looks okay, the lighting looks okay. And this is stuff that they can take back and basically kind of pattern and do over and over again. So,
Steve said here in the chat room, we said would be great to see video of the pro squad actually shooting the events.
Yes.
We would love to be able to bring you that, and that's what we're gunning for.
Well, we're going to do that.
Yeah, no, we are going to do that, but at the moment
they're not shooting.
Yeah, they're not shooting. And the other thing too is understand the challenges. I mean, when you're looking at 10 to 16 stations, depending on the event and the venue, that's a lot, and they're all spread out across those stations. So the equipment, the manpower, it's coming. We will be able to do that ourselves. For now, we're going to take what's being thrown at us and work on commentating from there.
Yeah. Crawl before you walk, right?
Yes.
One of the things that we're planning on doing is basically, we will have the biggest downside that we have right now is that the best possible thing for the sport is going on right now, which is that we have a pro squad. So as somebody who now is involved in the content and media aspect of the game, awesome. As a pro, thank you. And as a coach, again, thank you, NSCA and everybody involved in doing that. The only downside to that is that it's very hard for me to film everybody while I'm also in the middle of it because I have to shoot at the same time as them.
Oh, come on.
Listen, guys.
Quit
it
making
was the
excuses.
reason why I missed those 2 targets today. I was trying to get my camera out.
Oh, you were thinking about him on one of them and me on the other one, right? Because that's what it is?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Brandon's got a question for you here, David.
Yeah.
He said, what did you think about the yellow course today, David? I thought it had some pretty interesting presentations.
Yeah, that's a great question. Wait
a minute. Before you answer that, do you know who set that course?
I don't.
Okay. Because I know it was all split. I think Neil set the yellow course. Don't quote me on that.
Oh, then I hated it.
Make sure we bring that up tomorrow night.
Yeah,
right?
I'm sure Neil will have something to say.
Right.
No, actually, and Neil knows this too. Every time that I shoot his course, I go up and compliment him on him, no matter what it is. The only target setter that actually is horrible is Joe Skull. Just kidding. He's like a brother too. Anyways, I love all those guys and the work that they put in, and they really sacrifice a lot. And nobody knows how hard it is to do what they do at these shoots unless you've done it before. And I don't. There's no way that you can judge that statement. It's purely fact. But I thought it was a good course. Here's what this is what I thought. So I started on Station 3, which I personally thought was the hardest station, but it could have been because it was the first target that I had shot since July. I think you probably could have thrown a 20-yard belly crow, and I would have thought it was hard. Especially those crows you guys said, I thought those were about impossible. You threw aluminum birds at me at the night shoot. But so I started on Station 3. It was I think it was a troop. No, it was a report pair. Pretty nasty tower, I thought. It was behind a tree. I don't know if the wind was changing it. And to be fair, I even made this comment to these guys in the house. I'm not making this up. I knew that today was either going, for me personally, it was either going to go very well or very bad. It was not going to be in the middle, just because of the fact that, I not having shot for a while has nothing to do with. It's not a impressive thing. It's actually, unlike other professional shooters, for me, it's beneficial to do that. because the newness of going out to compete really is engaging to me. And I'm not going to lose my ability to move my gun in 2 months. So I thought either that it would be hyper engaging to compete today on whatever course it was, or that I would be so exhausted and my eyes would be so worn out from staring at these computer screens for basically 2 months straight that I would be excited but not be able to shoot. And started off, and I thought it was going to go the wrong way because the birds, they were either 85 yards and they were so far away that they were blurry, or my eyes really were bad. Because I'm like trying to look at them, and I was really nervous. Honestly, everything looked fuzzy, and I miraculously ran that first station, and then I just kind of got into this groove of really just engaging with the birds. And so basically, when I'm in a round like that, and this is pretty educational for everybody watching. It could be very helpful. The biggest thing that happens if you haven't shot for a while is that there is nothing that is going to pull your attention if you know how your mind is going to work. It's going to either go one of two ways. Option one is you're going to go into like, oh, I got to protect this. I haven't done this in a while. Let me make sure it's good. Or option two is because of the newness of it and the freshness of looking at targets, it's very easy just to look at targets. And so if you know that that's going to be the case and you take advantage of it and you don't allow yourself to be like, okay, well, I don't need to see the gun, even though that I feel, like I'm a little bit apprehensive about all of this. You just let it happen, let it flow, and don't worry about mechanics. Don't try to mechanically produce anything good because it's not going to be good because you haven't shot for a while. So I basically knew all of this stuff going into it. I was just looking at birds, and to be fair, a roundabout way of getting to your answer is that when that's happening, it's very hard to gauge a course because literally every target feels equally difficult. Because I'm not paying attention to how I'm moving. I'm not paying attention to where the gun is and what I have to do with it. I'm really just so fluidly looking at the bird that they all seemed very scary and very hard. And and I just got lucky, and I highly doubt that I'll be able to do that 2 days in a row, but I'm surely going to take advantage of it today.
It's funny because the three of us sitting here all have had their challenges going into today. I mean, Sean, if you want to tell the story about the insurance, and this happened to me too, actually. I'll preface this with saying that my insurance, gun insurance, was canceled, unbeknownst to me, and I had to hurry up, and I actually ended up going through my homeowner's insurance because I couldn't get a hold of them at Gun and Trophy, and then you get the email Sunday night.
Yeah, I got an email Sunday night, which I didn't read until Monday morning when I went into work and was checking on my emails. And, sure enough, my insurance policy for my gun was canceled. I'm like, well, I'm flying out Wednesday morning to go to the Nationals. This is not good. And unfortunately, in the time frame that I had, there was really no options for me to get something going that quickly. So I wound up taking my backup gun. I shot that this morning, and then, hats off to Sean Mainland at Kohler. He stepped up and gave me a loaner gun. We went out probably a little prematurely this afternoon. We shot the orange course this afternoon, Jason, and I was hitting about 50% of the targets. We tried to make some adjustments while we were shooting, and that's probably never a good idea, right, David? I mean, you're either going to go one way or the other. Well, we definitely went the other, and I blanked the last three stations. I mean, the gun I was pointing at things, and they were not breaking like they should have been breaking. So luckily, I was able to come back to Kohler, and Kevin worked on it for me. I think we've got it pretty close now. So hopefully tomorrow morning, 8 a.m., we'll find out very quickly if what I'm looking at is what's going to break.
Well, and much like David, I haven't touched the gun one time since the Ohio State shoot, which was the first week of August. Mm-hmm. So I had no expectations coming in. It was just, go shoot and have fun and enjoy the national championship. And David was kind of the same way, but he pulled out of everything except for the main. Unlike Sean and I, David pulled something out of his rear and turned a good number today. So Sean shot probably the worst I've ever seen him shoot. Again, no discredit to you, but you didn't have a gun that was pointing where you were looking.
No, and I think that all goes back to what we said over and over and over and over again. Gun fit is absolutely key.
Well,
I mean,
and preparedness too.
Well, preparedness too, but at the same time, I mean, there's really no fixing a gun that's not shooting where you're looking.
Yes.
I mean, you might as well.
You can just look somewhere else.
Well, and here's the thing, David. At this point, I have shot before a time or two, and, your brain thinks, well, I can figure this out. So I'm moving the gun around. I'm trying to move different ways. And like, I hold under, I hold over, I lead it, more than I would think, or, and it just it was frustrating. So by the time I was done with the round, I was all over the place and just totally rattled. So it really, I had to go out once we got the gun readjusted. I went out to the practice course and was actually, okay, we're just going to start with a straightaway to make sure that this thing is going to, when I pull the gun up and I beat up on a bird, blang, it just goes. And it did. And I started working on some crossers and stuff. So I think we're pretty close, but definitely got humbled today.
Yeah, and here's the thing is, like, I said to you, Sean, you only get out of it what you put into it, right?
Absolutely.
I think everybody knows that. And then except for this moron over here who was basically conceived on the grounds here. But, I mean, seriously, though, you only get out of what you put into it. 6 P's, right? Proper preparation prevents piss poor performance. So, and I wasn't prepared, but I'm not going to turn down going to the national championship.
There's a when it comes to being prepared, the reality of it is that all but about 30 of us, only 30 of us don't have an excuse to not be prepared. Everybody else has a life and a job and a family and other things to do. And so the reality of it is that I personally, as a coach, there's 2 ways you got to look at it. If the person, if their number one goal in that moment is to do as good as they possibly can at the shoot, then you should be disappointed for not being prepared. And, you should be, critical of that. But if that's not the number one goal, then there's nothing wrong with that. And the reality of it is that's 90% of the people that are here. And because that's 90% of the people that are here, then we have to say, okay, well, if that is reality, then how do we make the best of it? And so what actually ends up happening is that you have to understand what happens to you if you're not prepared. What things don't work? What things can I not rely on? What things can I rely on? What things should I focus on? Every person has a different, combination of an equation for that. But the rough, aspect of it, I guess you could say, is that essentially you have to, it's all a mind game. You have to understand that if you are not prepared, that you can't expect to feel like you are confident. So then instead of saying, well, I'm not going to feel confident, so it's not going to go well, no. You say, okay, I'm not going to feel confident because I haven't done this for a while, I'm not prepared, and I don't feel like I'm ready. Okay, if that's how I'm going to feel, what will that cause? Well, that's going to cause me to XYZ fill in the blank. Everybody knows that answer for themselves individually. And you say, okay, if that's going to happen, then what do I need to do to not allow that to happen? Either you do option number 1, which is because you know it's going to happen, just don't do it. Or option number 2 is that you know it's going to happen, then it happens, and then you just basically do what every therapist will tell you is not the right thing to do, which is just suppress and repress it.
Right.
But yeah, so that's the biggest thing. But we have a comment here from Donald Trump.
Well, Mr. 47, I am not going to give my top 3 out of respect to my friend and my new business partner. Why don't you go ahead and give your top 3?
Well, I think Brandon's definitely in the conversation. I would say.
Well, you saw the scoreboard.
Yeah, I saw the scoreboard. I mean, obviously Brandon's in the conversation. I'm just saying that. It's 3 more days, right? So there's a lot of shooting left to go. I would say if David can keep his mental focus in the same state as how he shot today, he's definitely a contender. My third pick, that's going to be tough.
Who was the first one?
Brandon.
Oh, Brandon.
Brandon.
Okay.
Yeah.
I call Brandon out. I mean, obviously he's turning well. You can't discount. I'm going to kind of just rattle off three guys that you can't discount, and I would say that, Gilman, Corey, and Anthony are all in the conversation, and they do have the potential to pick it up and catch up with the leaders at this point. I'd say right now Brandon's got a little bit of an advantage over everybody. David, you definitely shot fantastic, and if you can keep in that same headspace, buddy, I think you're right there.
Well, I can guarantee you I'll be in the same headspace, but I'm not sure if my head will be on. So,
that's always.
It might be, in all reality, if anybody's actually betting on this, I don't know if that's even possible, but don't bet on me, okay?
So well then, what's your top three picks?
What's my top? I mean, I can tell you this: I'm not going to if I don't shoot well, if I don't finish well, it's not going to be because of my head. It's going to be because of exhaustion and energy. So before coming into this shoot, and this is one of the reasons why I pulled out of everything but the main, was because I know me and everything that I do. I have a very hard time. Like, I don't like to. I'm a perfectionist in a way. With you being with me the last couple of weeks, you can see how I can't pull away from something if I'm starting it, So I knew that if I was here to try to compete well and to try to do this well, that both of them would not go well. So I picked one, and I picked this, because otherwise I would be leaving here with a failed launch at TCN and a poor performance out on the course and a very upset me. So every chance I get, if I have to make a choice between this or my rounds for the rest of the next couple of days, it's going to be this. So I don't know if an opportunity will present itself where that has to happen. But if I got to stay up all night one night to fix a problem that we have, that's going to happen even if I shoot at 10:30 in the morning and I'm leading. So I would say that my top picks are, if nothing happens wrong, I would put me up there. But if not, I wouldn't. I would say, let me look at the scores. We have, so it's on our.
So right now Brandon's at a 74. You and Turner are tied with a 73. Austin Kimstead's at a 72. Corey, Anthony, and Gavin Miles are all at a 71. So you got three targets separating the top 6-7 people here.
Yeah, the interesting thing about nationals is the only other shoot like it in the world is the World FITASC, because it's 4 days, and that's a different animal. When you get somebody if you win nationals, you are mechanically and mentally and emotionally and energy-wise, everything, you are managing everything very well. I keep looking over here, but I should be looking over here. That's a thing that's easy to accidentally do for 2 days in a row.
Yes. And
that's coming from somebody who's done it accidentally a lot 2 days in a row. Also on purpose sometimes, but rarely. So nationals is hard to do 4 days in a row. Every once in a while you get somebody to come in here and they'll win the nationals and they've never won a major shoot before. It's not taking anything away from them, but the probability of that happening is probably 400% less than it happening in a 2-day shoot, even though 2 days is half the amount of time. So I would say that I would doubt that anybody – I wouldn't put money on somebody that isn't regularly and consistently up there, and has closed on a few shoots. So I would not doubt, but I wouldn't doubt Anthony's could do well. Did you say Gilman as well?
Yeah.
I mean, any of the guys at the top. Also, I don't know what the courses are like. I know I still got to shoot a Joe Skull course, so I might want to take myself out of the equation after that.
Well, let's catch up to some questions here. We got another one here. Why was the gun insurance canceled? So basically, what happened is the carrier, and this is public information now, so it's not a secret. Basically, SIAI, Sportsman's Insurance Agency Incorporated, their carrier quit insuring guns. Now, they are scrambling right now to get another carrier. They understand that people are going to go other places and get insurance because you can't travel without you shouldn't travel without your insurance on your gun, especially if you have an expensive firearm. An
inexpensive one.
I said expensive.
Oh,
and expensive.
And an expensive gun. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, so that was the deal on that one.
And the issue was, if I can just expand on that, the issue was the timing, because again, I was flying out Wednesday morning. They let me know Sunday night, which I didn't even see in my email until Monday morning. So it really didn't give me much time. And when I called and finally got a hold of somebody at SIA, they told me Monday afternoon, your policy canceled that day. Now, what I wish they had done is saying, hey, we knew this was coming. Be prepared to get some other insurance.
Well, I think you said the key thing there from the conversation I had with the staff. They didn't know this was coming.
Okay.
So it was kind of dropped on them. I understand things happen, right?
Yeah. So if you are insured by SIA, you may want to make a phone call and check before you travel to your next shoot out of town, because obviously would hate to have something bad happen to your firearm, or get missing or get stolen, and then you find out you don't have coverage.
Yeah, exactly. I got another question here. I think I skipped over it. If someone is looking to go to the Nationals next year, can you do a super high level of what goes into planning the trip down there? I don't remember if the podcast has touched on it in the past. Yes, we did do an episode over at the Dead Pair podcast. And by the way, I want to take a real quick second and explain to everyone, the Champions Network is not part of the Dead Pair. I know I am. I know Sean is. We are the Dead Pair podcast. The Champions Network is a completely separate entity. Okay, understand, that's me, David, and Julia. So just so everybody's clear. But yes, over on the Dead Pair podcast, we did do an episode on coming to the Nationals. We had Neil Chadwick on for this year. In the past, I think we had Neil or Mike Hampton on, Michael Hampton Jr. But yeah, you might want to check that out, because there's a lot that goes into it, and we could really kind of sit here all night and talk about that. What you need to do to be prepared to come down here.
You want to get our special secret guest on?
We have a special secret guest.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, David. We need to address this. My audio is screwed up. Is there a reason? Is there a repeat on? Excuse me.
We got the hawk that managed that problem.
Refresh. There you go. We've got one more question, but let's get we got a super secret guest.
Secret guest.
So we're going to get him in here real quick. David, I'll let you set him up with that. While we're doing that, I'm going to read this question. David, you want to get our guest in here?
Why don't I just roll to I'll roll a segment about Julia, and then
absolutely.
Okay, so here's our other main, the boss, as we like to say, wasn't able to make it right now, but she's. So it was important to me that if we create a community we're trying to bring people together, get people to know us, and not very many people know Julia and what she does with her business. HOA Sports Management, but I guarantee you that if you've been to a major shoot in the United States, that she's been the boss for you too, because she's amazing at cultivating a really cool experience at all the events that we go to, and so me personally and Jason, we're very, very excited and lucky to have her as part of this, because with the two of us headless chickens running around without somebody to manage us, we wouldn't be able to get that much done. What do you think, Jason?
Do you realize I have two bosses named Jules now? I'm married to one and working with the other one. That's consistency.
Yeah.
But I'm going to get in trouble no matter which direction I go. So
I think you call that a work wife.
Yeah. But, hey, listen, while David plays this, we're going to get our guest in here, and then we're going to come back to these questions, okay? And maybe we'll let the guest answer some of these questions. So, David, do you want to play this segment you did with Julie real quick? And we'll be right back.
I grew up like 20 minutes from Northbrook Sports Club, and my first job was being a ref, and I started working there when I was 11. My dad took me up there and said, it's time you get a job, so I started being a ref, and I worked there all through high school, and I graduated in 2019, which was the year Northbrook held the World English. And Brett had chatted with me a little bit about just helping with the hospitality side and helping with the event side of the shoot. So I went through that whole process, and I loved it. I ended up doing a lot with the sponsors and vendors and trophies and all the extra add-ons that went into that tournament. And then after that, COVID hit, and the North Central went back to Northbrook that following year, and Brett asked if I'd come back and help for that tournament, and one thing led to another, and people asked me if I would travel and if this was something that I'd be willing to do. So it started just as something small that honestly had a huge need, and when it came time for me to graduate, the need was big enough for me to do it full time. Every moment felt like sheer panic, but I loved it. Coming from the horse show industry and getting to see the management side of horse shows made me realize how much I've seen in horse shows and how much it relates to shooting events, and it really satisfied this need of everything I felt like I was good at, but it challenged me in everything that I was good at, and I loved that. And I saw so much room for improvement and so many things that we could do differently to improve the sport and make things just a little bit more special for everybody, not just the top 5%. I would say the most rewarding part is when the kind of everyday person comes up and they've gone way out of their way to come to this tournament. They've made a big financial investment, a big investment in time. They're away from their family. If you think about everything that goes into an individual shooter traveling to come to a regional, it's a lot. It's more than just hanging out with your buddies for the weekend. And when at the end of that, they are so excited to go to the next one. And I feel like when we hear that, we feel like we've done our job. We've created a desire for competition. We've created a desire for them to come back, and we've created it in something that they love. So every time we try and do something bigger or better, it's for that person. It's for the young kid who wants to be you. It's for all of those kind of people, and that is by far the most rewarding. What we really try exceptionally hard to focus on is making everything you do in your day at a tournament extremely seamless. We do that by hiring incredible staff and bringing people into the tournaments that are far more educated than any of us, and they do this for a living. So I think, as much as we try and make every big moment special with the trophies and the dinners and the hospitality and all of that side of it, we also try so hard to focus on the actual functionality of the tournament. Especially, it's so great. Over the past 2 years, we've seen a lot of new clubs get regionals, which is what we want. That's, how we grow the sport. But everyone asks for a playbook, right? You can quantify it as much as you want to, but every club is so different, and each personnel that they have is so different. Where we come in, and I hope we are unique in the fact is, I'd like to think that myself and the girls that work for me are really good at extracting what that club is already good at and making sure that they do that better than anybody else. Every club has that one thing that they outshine everybody else with, and that's what makes them special. There's always a way to make it happen the way we want to make it happen, and there's a way to make everybody happy. There is a way to make everybody happy, and we're going to figure it out. I try really hard to listen to everybody. They take their time to seek me out, and whether it's positive or negative, it means enough to them to say it. So therefore, it comes from a place of it means that much to them. So therefore, it needs to mean something to me. I think the most important for me is that we understand why, the NSCA and why this industry has been successful for as long as it has and why it continues to grow, and that we don't try and change the bones of it. We just try and grow on what it has done and where it can go, and that we're not trying to reinvent the wheel that doesn't need to be reinvented. We just need to move forward and create something bigger and better is what we need to do. We talked about it a lot. We're not the PGA. There's a reason for that, and it's a good reason that we're not. But what can we take from the PGA and apply some principles to us and create bigger and better experiences for everybody? And that kind of invites the second half of it is curating an environment that people want to be a part of and that they can't wait to hang out and be here for all of it, which I think we do anyway, but I think there's another level to that. For me, it's taking the time to hear the people that are paying to be there and choosing to be there. They are making a very active choice to come and be present at this event. Somebody needs to sit there and listen to them and cater to them. And the rest of shoot management, your target setters, your trap mechanics, everybody else that makes up a tournament, their job is to hyper-focus on the deliverables. And their job is to hyper-focus on the success of the tournament from that level. There has to be a party involved that looks at it from the eyes of the masses. That's what excites me, because I feel like we can sit there and listen and take all this information and do something with it that doesn't affect the rest of shoot management, which is exceptionally important. I want you to feel like you not only can't wait to come to the next one, but that feeling comes from I just experienced the coolest thing I've ever experienced. I can't wait to see what they're going to do next. And the fact that we have the opportunity to create those moments for people is, I don't even know how to put words to that for me. It's to think that we can create an environment for someone to feel a tenth of what I felt every day growing up in the horse show industry is immeasurable to me. And that's truly every day why I feel so blessed to do what I get to do and why it doesn't feel like a job to me. Well, and you asked me, what's a favorite moment that stands out to me at World FETASC? I truly think, I felt the 100 people that were standing there watching the award ceremony and the fireworks, and in that moment I felt so many people start to have that feeling, and that was electrifying, and that is without a doubt why I love what I do. So something new that we have added to HOA this past year is not only focusing on the specific event experiences and the on-site experiences during big blast shoots or regional championships or the U.S. Open, is also focusing on it from a gun club perspective and also industry company perspective, that if you're someone that would like to have help focusing on your social media, email blasts, and reaching your masses and reaching your members, that is also a new service that we are offering. I want TCN to be the sporting clay industry's version of ESPN. I want this to be your go-to place for any bit of tournament-related information that you want to find. It's good quality content that you find entertaining, educating, informative. All of those things are what we want these episodes to highlight. And that's where I really hope I see it go. And I think that you just build on that year after year, and that's where I hope we go. As far as my involvement in it, I hope from a tournament perspective, we can marry our concepts of TCN to the championship tour and these bigger events, and invite the community we want to create, see it on the other side of tournament management as well, so that we can have a meeting of the minds and accomplish it together.
Super secret guest.
Super secret guest. Well, a friend of ours, we love having him on. He's a rad shooter, Mr. Rad, Chad Roberts himself. What's up, Chad?
I don't know if I'm that rad.
You don't know if you're that rad? Well, right now you're not rad at all because nobody can hear you.
What's up?
Oh, nobody can hear me? I can't hear. There I am.
he is.
Hello, everybody.
I accidentally had the minus 26 decibel button pushed because I knew he was going to yell.
I am loud. Well, thank you, everybody, for having me. Hey, Sean. Hey, Jason. Hey, David.
What's up, buddy?
So, how are you guys?
Good. So you have been shooting well, my friend. You have picked it up. Any secret sauce you're going to let out yet, or are you still working on it?
No,
okay.
No. It's. I've been working hard for the last for a while now. Obviously, if anybody hears me to ever talk, I've been working for the last 3 years to get my head out. But no, if you're not studying the game, everybody, I mean, you either better be studying people that shoot or studying the game or getting help. I just happen to find something that really works for me, and I feel like I'm back to what I was back in 19 and 18 when I was getting up there.
Yeah,
so
good. Well, we'd love to see you up there, man. That's for sure. If we want to. We'd love to have you part of the top 3 conversation, man. That's for sure.
We could always hope that. It would be pretty cool. But, my goal this weekend, top 15, top 20. I'd love top 15 so I could just not have to do what I did to get on the super squad. So
yeah.
Is that how they pick it?
I think so. I don't know the full criteria, but it's, past champions and all that. But top 15 scores, I think you get 2 years in. But I think with the new changes of them doing it at the regionals in the future, I think that might allow more buy-ins and stuff. But they're not really talking about it. There's no coverage on it, so you're not going to see us probably on camera unless somebody's in those 10 people that bid for it were in the top, 3 or something. I could see them being videotaped or interviewed, but we're not being interviewed or anything like that, which is kind of, I have my opinions on that, but I don't mind giving them. But, it'd be kind of cool there's a lot of money that was spent for us to, each of us to get on a super squad. And I wish they'd promote it a little bit because of the fact that the money goes to a good. I think it goes to Team USA or some of it does or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
So if I would like to tell everybody out there, it's super stressful. I haven't been that nervous at a shoot in years.
So what squad were you on? Let's start with
that.
I
was with Gavin Miles. I was originally supposed to be with Brad Kidd, and then Todd Simmons and Sean Kemeter. Mm-hmm. I heard Brad hurt himself. Probably crashed. Yeah, he hurt his shoulder. I think he crashed on his one wheel. I'm going to throw that out there as a rumor, even though it might not be the actual truth. I don't know how he hurt himself.
The one-wheel peel.
One-wheel peel.
One-wheel peel.
But he hurt himself, so he wasn't able to shoot this weekend. We had another kid that was on a standby list, Joseph Carey. He's one of Anthony's students. He got in and he was nervous like I was, It's just super cool. It was like a hurry up and wait deal. There was a lot of backup. I got to watch you, David, shoot. You were a couple squads in front of me.
Yeah, I think I saw you on that one station. Yeah. Why did that station? What happened there?
I believe because me, I'm Mr. Analytical, right? So I'm sitting back there. Well, first off, I made my first pro mistake, if you want to consider it a pro thing. So I'm coming off. I led that station on Station 5, and we're coming off 4. Just ran the station. So I started on Station 2, ran 3, 4, I was like, I'm going to walk up to the next station. So I walked up to the station. I'm like, these are pretty good targets. And I'd actually walked into the red course, into Station 1. And I was standing over there watching everybody shoot. And
Chad, that's a mistake I would make.
And I'm like, why is there nobody over here? Because they're all over at this other station. That must be the next station. And I'm like, I thought we hadn't turned the corner yet.
But see, it looks like it should be that way.
Right, and it totally confused me.
I guess it was a mistake I would make because I basically did.
Well, okay.
Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad.
Don't feel bad because this morning we shot K-Cup and we were on Station 6. And then this afternoon we shot the main. We were supposed to start on Orange 2. We were sitting there and the trapper reads off the order. And I looked at Sean, I'm like, did you hear our names? He goes, no, I didn't. I said, can you repeat that? He read back the names. I'm like, we're not on the list because we were on Station 6 and we were supposed to be on 2.
Oops.
So
and neither one of us caught that until oh shoot, we got to go down 4 more stations.
When I turned the corner, when I figured it out, I told Jonathan Henrici, I was like, I made my first pro mistake and we were laughing about it, and there was 3 squads in front of me, and I was trying to watch Hunter Webb, and so there's 3 in front of him. David was one of them, then Hunter, then us. No, then there was one more than us, and then there was enough squads behind us. I think there was 2 or 3 more that even Brandon caught up to us because he watched us shoot number 5. It was all packed in that corner. And so, it was a long day or a long morning. We started at 8 a.m., right on the button, and we finished at 10:47 when I fired my last shot. So,
wow.
It was great, but what I was going to say about the whole super squad is I kind of wish they would talk about it more. Not that we need the notoriety or anything, but it's a lot of people that either are doing it because they're donating money. I know the Dr. Carey was doing that for Joseph, and unfortunately he missed a bid because he was in surgery. And so Anthony told him to get on a standby, and luckily he got in. But I wanted to tell people that it's really cool because – for me, it's like having a lesson with a top pro. It costs about that much. So if I went out with 3 hours or 4 hours with David, it would cost about the same much as what I spent.
90 grand?
Yes, $90 million. And we shot twice, and we only shot twice.
How do you think that I afford all this?
Right. So it was cool. I mean, what's neat about it is I think it should be something to be talked about because it would be neat to see more people try to participate in it.
Yeah.
One, it gives more money to the places that it needs to go to. But I'm telling you guys, out in Shooterland, it is an amazing opportunity. You get I felt like I was racing again. I had the jitters. I'm shooting with every top pro out there. Whether you think I am or not, I want to be part of that program, so might as well shoot it, right?
Yeah.
So,
well, to your credit, Chad, to what you're saying, and Sean, you and I have talked about this. You compare sporting clays to other sports. How cool. What if you could go play basketball with LeBron, or if you could go run the car around the track with your favorite NASCAR driver, or something.
Go golfing with Tiger.
In this sport, you can do that.
Yes,
and you can bid to be on, like Chad. You can bid to be on a squad with Anthony and Corey. All the people we've talked about. Even Meathead over here, David. You could bid to be on his squad.
Yeah, but I have you on a blacklist though, Jason. So
I don't doubt that.
David, who was your guy on your person on your squad? Do you remember
the buy-in?
The buy-in?
I honestly don't know if there was. Everyone that was on my squad should have been.
Wasn't David King? You weren't on David King's squad, were you?
I was with David King, yeah.
He's the buy-in.
He's the buy-in.
He was with – we both talked about it. And we said the same thing. It was like, for what it costs, it was expensive, but the experience and everything we got to see and do, it was really cool.
That's awesome.
And I was on fire there for a bit. I didn't end as well as I'd like to, but as well as I'm shooting right now, like with what happened in Super Sport and K Cup, I feel awesome right now, and things are going well.
Chad, I want to say something about what you're talking about, Chad. With the whole, I mean, basically, you should be on it's called the Pro Squad now,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so like you should be on. I don't know what their criteria are, but man, you would be on the Pro Squad. Someone like David King would be on a Pro Squad. But there's a lot. It looks like when I was out on the course and I'm looking around, I didn't even know people could buy in, because everyone that was out there I would have assumed should be there, right? And I think that is a huge step forward in our sport, because 10 years ago, if the organization would have asked the pros to all shoot together, they'd be like, no way, I'm not doing that.
Right.
I want to shoot on my squad.
Yeah.
I want to shoot with my time. Now you have pros paying to shoot with the pros.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I want to call that out, because my opinion that if we want to push the sport forward and we want to grow it and cultivate this professional perception of what we're doing, and we want to have a platform that you can film and watch everybody that can win all in one rotation, I've always said and I've always believed the pros are the ones that have to step up, and they have to do it themselves. And because we can't just continue to go in and play for other people's money or expect other people to do things for us. And so that's awesome to hear that, Chad. I don't think that you should have had to, but I would thank you for doing that, because I think that's the right step forward for the sport.
Well, I mean, I pulled out of a few regionals that would give me the opportunity to try to make the Pro Squad. That was the goal this year, and I wasn't shooting well, and I wanted to take a step back for two of the regionals. I didn't do Northeast or the Southeast, and there was a reason behind it. I did some work on myself. I did, and it wasn't mental. It's just the game's changing. I had to do something. I can't shoot like I teach because I'm at a different level, and I needed to get back to what I need to do. I need to get out there and kick ass. That's the simple bottom line, and I needed to have the confidence to do that, and I feel like I've found something, and I feel like I found it. I've got a lot of help. I'll be the first one to shake the person's hands that's helped me the most lately, and when it happens or when I feel where I need to be. But no, I mean, it was cool to hang out with Wendell. I saw you. Gavin was shooting really, really well. Sean was shooting really well. I was shooting really well. It's just it was cool. I mean, I can't tell you how cool that was.
Well, hey, listen, we got a question here.
We got a couple questions.
And this would be really good for both of you to answer. Super Goose says, went into nationals having shot more practice targets in the last 2 months than the last 2 years combined. He says, shot probably the worst I ever have at nationals. My best finishes typically early in the year when I haven't shot a clay in 3 to 4 months during the hunting season. Guess I'm a weirdo like David. Well, let me just tell you right now, Super Goose, you can never be as weird as David.
Hey, now.
So let's start with Chad. So this guy's really hammered the targets, and he came in and shot worse than he ever has. What do you say to that, Chad? Do you think it's something in the training that's causing this?
No. I 3 months ago I would have said that. It's your expectations. You train super hard. You shoot a ton. You're shooting 95% every day in your practice. You feel great. I've done it. I've come into this shoot before, and I've talked to David about it, where he had shot, a box of shells in 3 months, and I'm like, well, shit, I just put 6,000 rounds down, in 3 months or whatever. So, and not shot well. I honestly think it's just expectations. When you expect it, it's a mindset to be able to overcome that, because the expectations are so high of yourself, and so that brings out all the questions. It brings out the chatter in your head. It brings out everything. And really, it comes back down to the basics. If you don't have a sound fundamental-based process that you can rely on, that works for you, not the next person, or not what some coach tells you that you should do, or some mind guru or whatever. I don't care how much you tell yourself you're a bad mofo out there. You got to still have confidence. You got to see the confidence, which is expectations and stuff like that. I think in this person's case, if they went out and they ran 10 stations straight and felt great, they're gonna have the confidence, and they're like, okay, my expectations were exactly that. That's what I expected. That's what happened. Everything's cool. Confidence builds, and then they're good to go. You can get into the whole nitty gritty of their techniques and what's good and what's bad and whatever. But I've learned as a coach, and I think David and I would agree with me, at least I hope it was, I've learned a lot that I have seen people do some of the weirdest stuff with shotguns, and they hammer targets. I mean, throwing a gun around, release triggers, tomahawking stuff, reverse lead stuff, whatever it is.
Lead reduction.
Lead reduction.
Yeah, that works.
Lever reduction, whatever it is. Like they're just, and they spot shooting
Shot
this,
string
that,
elongation.
and they just hammer it, and they'll prove you wrong. They'll prove you as a coach wrong every day, and they're like, it's our job to try to find that line for them and find that path that's correct. But in general, Sean could go out tomorrow because he has no expectations, right? He's done. He's like, oh, I had a crappy day. The gun didn't work. It shot in China when I tried to pull the trigger in Texas.
I told him to look in China.
Yeah, and it would have probably worked, right? Yeah. I'm surprised you didn't hit the ground when you pulled the trigger, right? Like it didn't.
There was moments. Moments.
So with no expectations, I would not put it past him to go out tomorrow and shoot a really high score.
So, David, do you have anything to add to that question? Or do you remember the question?
I don't remember the question. Can you say it again?
Yeah, let me read it real quick. So he says he went into the Nationals having shot more practice targets in the last 2 months than the last 2 years combined. Shot probably the worst I ever have at Nationals. My best finishes typically early in the year when I haven't shot a clay in 3 to 4 months during hunting season. So basically he practiced a lot and showed up and blew his expectations.
Yeah, I think that Chad's I would echo what Chad said, and I would add that on top of that, it has to do with probably how you're practicing and then how you're trying to bring that into a round. For example, like, if you try practicing and if you're going out and drilling things out and you're working very seriously and heavily on mechanics or very specifically certain things, pre-planned and defined components of your game, and you don't understand that when you come out into actual competition, that everything that you were doing consciously in practice needs to be shut off, and you need to flip the switch and then go into autopilot while you're out on the round, then what will happen every time is that when you're actually trying to compete, you're going to be in what would be called a more of an interoceptively aware and attentive mind state, which is where you're paying attention to and controlling your body consciously at a conscious level. So you're feeling the movements that you're making, you're consciously driving, so to speak, and that is never a way to execute at the highest level possible because you're only able to consciously drive one part of the whole mechanical and movement-based equation at a time. And so that's a big mistake that a lot of people make. And the difference is that when you don't practice at all, it's not that that's beneficial for you. The difference is that you get so far removed from a conscious state of mind of what it is that you actually do to shoot, movement-wise, mechanically, your whole routine, system, process, everything that you do. If you had to write on a list of paper everything that's involved in your shooting, you get so far removed from those things that you just go out and shoot. And add on top of that what Chad just said, that acts as a catalyst to fuel that and make it more amplified, because you have no expectations, so therefore you're not trying to remember the things, you're just looking and shooting, and that's where you engage in everything that you've built upon your whole life of shooting. And so you could do a short, like one sentence summary of everything I said by saying it like this. Practice, the purpose of it is to change the movement that you're doing that's bad and flip it into being the thing that you're trying to learn. But a tournament needs to be a non-conscious execution of whatever it is that you have done consciously the most amount of times in practice. And that happens by shutting off the conscious driving aspect of it. So that would be why.
And if you're nervous, you have to be able to get there.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're SOL.
I think that's a very big challenge for a lot of people.
Yeah, sure.
To be able to turn that. You know what I mean? I want to ask Sean this question. I want to hear his opinion.
Okay.
He said, "Get Tom C on. This is the first time for Tom on the pro squad and shooting with Brandon. So we have Fast Brandon and Turtle Tom on one squad.
It'd be interesting.
Wouldn't
to
you
watch.
like to be like a little mouse following them around?
Fly on the wall? Yeah.
Isn't it like pretty legitimate that Donald Trump was the one that said that? I mean, he's known for his names. And it's Fast Brandon. I think Fast Brandon's a little bit off game, though. I've heard Trump come up with some better ones. Turtle Tom, that's a good one.
That's
though.
a good one,
Yeah.
I like that. Turtle Tom. Well, he learned from Turtle David and Turtle Wendell.
Yeah, I was going to say, David, if you had to make a call.
For what?
Who's slower?
For me or him?
You no. 3-part. You, Wendell, or Tom.
Who takes more time?
I think I'm the fastest.
Out of the three of you.
Well, you saw me shoot today. Am I slow? I'm slow, but I'm not as slow as I was.
I know the answer, but I don't know if I'm supposed to say it.
Go ahead.
Wendell was absolutely smoking you today.
Really?
Speed.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Really?
Wendell's picked it up that much. Really?
It's not that he's picking it up. David's just slower.
There you have it.
And it wasn't
That's good for
bad.
him.
You were really paying attention to your moves, like your setup.
Yeah.
Because probably I don't know what David's been up to, but have you been practicing at all?
I haven't touched my gun since U.S. Open.
So that's why you were slow.
Yeah.
Because you were really paying attention to your setup before you called pull. I could see it.
Yeah, the
every
only
time.
thing I was paying attention to was that I only had to pay attention to one thing. The first one, two things. Number one is that I always have to figure out where my gun feels right in my shoulder. That's the only thing that goes if I take time off. So it's like I wanted to make sure that it got right. And then the other thing is that it's not going to be intuitive for me to just settle my eyes before I call pull if I haven't shot for a while. So I'm just forcing that consciously.
Yep, and that was the time.
Yeah.
I could see it. It was very noticeable.
So this is a good question. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say it was either that or you've been practicing so much that you knew exactly what you were trying to achieve with that same. Either way, it was one or the other.
Yeah.
So, but it looked good.
So this is a really good question.
Might not tomorrow, though, so remember that.
This is a really good question for the two of you because I know the two of you are going to have two totally different answers. Not sure I totally agree with this. As quote-unquote pros, do you enjoy shooting? Meaning I love shooting and sometimes shoot too much, and he says pre-surgery, just because it's fun. I think the pros treat it as a job. Maybe 100 rounds is enough. If you love shooting, there are never too many rounds. So I'll let you go first, David, because I know you. You don't even go out and just play around anymore, do you?
Mark is a good friend of mine. Let me read the question again. So it says okay, so not sure I totally agree with it. I'm not sure what he's referencing, what he doesn't agree with.
I think what he's talking about is, do you truly enjoy shooting, or do you treat it as a job? I mean, he's saying he can never shoot enough, whereas a pro is like 100 rounds, that's enough.
Oh. I'm not so sure that that's what he's saying.
Read the question again. Not sure I totally agree with this. As quote-unquote pros, do you enjoy shooting? Meaning, I love shooting and sometimes shoot too much pre-surgery just because it's fun. I think the pros treat it as a job. Maybe 100 rounds is enough. If you love shooting, there are never too many rounds.
I would say there's a I don't know any pro that just shoots 100 in practice. Do you? But a lot of us have different approaches to tournaments. I don't really shoot that much at a tournament because I know I only have so much gas in the tank. But I think the biggest difference between somebody that's a professional and somebody that's not is that it's the same thing as like when you own a gun club and people think you can shoot all the time. The reality of it is we never have time to shoot, and it's either that we're spending the time on or with students, and really in those moments I don't want to practice because I'm shooting so many different guns that day, in the lessons that I don't want to get in the mix with my own. But when I actually practice, it's a lot, and I love shooting. The only reason I'm good at shooting is because I like it. If it was a job, I'd probably quit.
Well, and the reason why I said that we're going to get two different opinions here because, Chad, I know you, and I mean, just like when I came out there to California, man, you and I burned up a truckload of ammo. We had so much fun, and there was a little bit of training involved, but there was a lot of fun involved too. So you're one of these guys, it doesn't matter how many rounds you shoot in a day, does it?
It depends on what I'm doing. Yes. That's a yes and no answer. So,
well, yes for the fun, but no for the competition.
Yes, because you were there and we were just blowing up stuff. But if I have a specific thing I'm doing, I will shoot until I feel that I've finished it. So if I'm doing skeet grid practice or if I'm out on the course, I will, if it's 500 rounds to get me to the end of what I needed to do that day, I would do it. If it's never less than probably it's somewhere between 175 and 250, and I usually get whatever I'm working on, and I run out of time, because I'm teaching all day or whatever. But to answer another side of that question, what a lot of people don't understand is they hear David talk about this, and they hear Wendell or they hear Anthony or whatever. You got to remember these guys have been shooting since they were 8 years old. And when they were between the ages of 8 and 19, I was talking to one of my students today, and I said, I used to come to this shoot when I first started in 2007 or 8 was my first one. And I was with Anthony and Corey. They would go out and get a practice key, and we'd burn a flat of ammo before we even shot the main event. Simple as that. I mean, it was like every shoot we'd go to, I was always the third or fourth wheel. It was get a practice card and get in the cage, and it was almost like they were using the chutes because that was the only time they got together, and they would burn a lot of rounds. And so these guys have been doing it for so long, they don't need to shoot as much to get their timing down or, where their eyes feel good. And, that's the reality of it. And, but I can tell you guys also, I've went out and shot with Brandon, and we've burned, what was it? I paid for it, so I know. 1,476 rounds in 4.5 hours between the two of us.
Well, and
the guy shoots a lot,
Yeah.
but he's not out practicing. it was part of something we were working on. We were actually teaching at Cardinal together, and we were just like, what are you doing right now? What are you doing? Let's go shoot. And Jake was setting targets for us, and we were shooting these bombs, and of course, Brandon's messing around upside down all over the place. But it was a training session, but it wasn't, but we burned a lot of shells because we do enjoy it.
Yeah.
Right, so.
Well, and the one thing I will say, Mark, thank you for the question. The one thing I will say is, Sean, we've even talked to Brandon about this. How many times have we gone to a shoot, and you just see him up there just hammering on the make-a-break or the snooker or whatever. I mean, the man, and he's told us he loves to shoot a shotgun.
Yes.
Sean, you are someone that, you and I started way back in the 90s having fun. We never really shot a lot of tournaments. But you get to a point where I'm burned out. I got to stop.
Sometimes. It depends on what's been going on and how often I've been shooting. And I mean, for me, shooting's my hobby, like my thing that I use to get away from work life and all that fun stuff. People that do it all the time, I'm sure they have a different perception. As a matter of fact, Jason, if you remember, I asked that very question to George Digweed.
Yeah.
I said, George, if you could, would you just go out and shoot for fun? He says, I would never touch a gun again.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for competition. He literally said
Oh, I know.
that.
I asked him that after dinner, after he won the 20 whatever world championship here. I was at dinner with him in Gamebore, and I asked him basically that same question.
Yeah. And he said, I would never touch a gun again. And then meanwhile, I think it was Wendell we had on. And I said, Wendell, do you still enjoy shooting? He goes, I go out and shoot every time that I freaking can.
Yeah. I love it. It's
So it's a personality thing, too, I think.
Well, I also think it's a difference between what makes somebody the greatest of all time and what makes somebody not. Because I'm satisfied if I don't win, and he's not.
Okay.
Because that's why he does it.
Okay.
And if you look at people like Tom Brady, or you look at Tiger Woods, or any of the greatest of all time, what's their attitude when they lose?
Oh, yeah. It's the end of the world.
Yeah.
It's the end
What's
of the world.
mine?
Right. Yeah. David wants to go have
Sun
beers and have
sun
fun.
comes up tomorrow.
He doesn't remember he lost.
Yeah, right. Well, and there's a lot to be said to that. I mean, how many people, legends in different sports, have you seen that when they put the ball glove down or whatever, or put up the motocross boots, whatever, they walk away and they never look back.
Mm-hmm.
They did their time, and it's like, man, you were the greatest, and then you got, just as an example, Jeremy McGrath is a name that everybody would know in Supercross. He still rides, he still loves it, and he's been retired since 2005. Somewhere in there, and the guy still goes out and rides all the time. In fact, he's an ambassador for Kawasaki. But my point is I think, Sean, you kind of hit the nail on the head. It's a personalities too. I mean, some people, myself, turn the lights on right now. I'll grab my gun. Let's go shoot.
Right.
My problem is time.
Yes.
Yes. Family, moving, and everything else. So, but let's catch up on some questions.
Yeah,
here,
we
David.
got two questions. One, TJ asked, and then Philip Bell. So I'll read them both because I want to make sure that we get both of them. The TJ's question is, and it's in the Q&A. So if you guys have questions, definitely ask them in the Q&A because they're easier for us to find, even though that this is one that has been sitting there for 37 minutes. So the question is the target difficulty too light across the board? Have to shoot 98 to 100 to win, or would top 15 shoot the same score but hurt the middle classes more than it would help the top deviate more?
Loaded question.
Yeah, let's hear from you, Chad. I want to hear your opinion on that.
Okay, so my first, why I said it was a loaded question, I think yes and no. No, that's my new thing lately. Yes, I think the top people would still be the top people, regardless if it was harder or easier. Do I think they're lighter overall? This goes back to what this shoot's about and who's here. For me, as good as I'm doing, it could be a little harder.
Yeah.
But I'm missing them, so it doesn't matter. I don't care if they're easy. And look, I was I was on a 97 in K-Cup. I missed 2 on my last station. That 97 still wouldn't have won. I would have tied David. Right. I think you shot a 97, right, in K-Cup?
No, he didn't shoot K-Cup.
Yeah.
I'm only shooting.
Oh, you're not.
Yeah.
Who? Oh, maybe it was Gavin or somebody who shot a 97. So, but high's a 99.
Braxton's got 99.
Yeah. So, is it bad or good? I don't know. I think I've heard from, because I have many students here, and our favorite Scott, man speaker's shooting, and he's in the B class, and he shot an 86 in 5-stand, and he's leading it by a couple birds, or he's tied for first.
Nice.
So currently, and he is pumped. And this guy, we have been just beating on him to shoot a tournament with us, right? And he's out there getting the jitters, and he's having fun. So for me, the yes part is the top guys are going to win, whether it's going to be balls to the walls or if it's going to be kind of, if you want to consider it soft. And I did not think that either the Super Sport or the K-Cup that I have shot so far, even the yellow course, was easy at all. I mean, I don't care that Brandon shot a 74. He's just a phenom anyway.
K-Cup had some spice to it.
And there was some stuff out there. There was a rabbit off a tower that a lot of people didn't hit, And
I ran that station.
Yeah, I did too. Good job, buddy. So I guess it wasn't so hard. No.
Ouch.
No, but
this is where our guest is exiting the show.
Right, I'm out.
No,
but I really think that I think for the amount of people are here, everybody I've talked to is having a lot of fun.
yeah.
And I know the weather's nicer. They got a lot more pavement here. It's pretty cool. But I think everybody's having more fun.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think it's a perfect mix of targets. I think there's going to be enough hard stuff out there within the field. It's not going to be every station. It might be one or two per course that are like the big ones. That's what I felt today on the yellow course. There was, and I ran those stations. There was the Batu station, and there was the tower station, which was awesome. I thought they were great targets. They weren't super crazy hard, but got to hit them all.
Yeah.
So, but that would be my answer with that one.
David, Phillips' question here, and I know it's for you and Chad, but I want to kind of do something fun just to mix it up a little bit. I want Sean to answer this question as if it was addressed to you, and then I want you to give your opinion of what David and Chad's answer is going to be. So,
jeez.
Man, he's making stuff complicated.
Yes.
Whoa.
So,
is this like the website?
Yeah.
Are we going to do a round wheel here?
We're ciphering
a cipher
this,
wheel?
okay?
Yeah.
Philip says, if David and Chad hypothetically had to choose where 4 targets were to be lost from a mental standpoint, would they rather miss in the first stand, the middle, or second to last stand? So, in other words, if you had to choose, you were going to lose 4 targets, where would you want to lose them at?
But based off of a mental.
Yeah, from a mental standpoint. What about you?
And we're assuming that the rest of the time I'm shooting really well and not dropping much in the way of.
Yeah, but he's talking about David and Chad, so they only missed 4 in a round, and where we missed 4 in the first cage. So
right. Okay, so that's another thing to look at. I would say for me, I would either want to miss them right off the rip or at the end, because I think that you can recover somewhat. Like if you get into the box on your first station and you get some jitters or whatever going on, if you miss 4, it can ruin your day, but more than likely I think it's like, okay, I'll get that out of the way and now I'll focus and go to work. And I've done that before. You've done that before. Or you've had a really good round and you've pretty much run the scorecard and you're getting nervous because you're getting to the end of it and you know how well you're doing, and we've both done that as well. Mm-hmm. And if you lose it at the end there, then that's you not being able to control your emotions. Now, if you miss those 4 targets in the middle, that's probably the most dangerous, because from that point it can either go downhill really quick or you can recover and carry on. And I think that's the hardest place to probably miss the 4 targets is in the middle.
What's your opinion? How do you think David's going to answer this question? Beginning, middle, or end? I know what he's going to do, but just
Jason, you don't know anything about what's going on in my head.
I know exactly what's going to come. Look, Jeff Frazier even called you out here a minute ago about your incoherent rambling.
Listen, just because it takes high intellect to understand me, Jeff, doesn't mean that you have to make comments like that.
Yeah. I thought we were all friends here.
No, wow.
I hope everybody understands my humor.
Don't you guys remember that we had
sure
David on?
Does.
He told the story about his therapist saying he's really screwed up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, again, and I'm not trying to second guess on David, but I think David's the caliber of shooter that I don't really think it matters all that much to him.
Okay.
That'd be my guess. And I think Chad be the same way. They're both mature enough shooters. They've both been in the grind too long. They've dropped targets. Okay, they've dropped targets. Now, is it going to really matter to them that much? They probably will say a preference one way or the other, but I think either one of them is fully capable of recovering no matter whether if it was beginning, middle, or end.
What about you, Chad? What's your answer to this question?
Hypothetically, first, because the new me, it would say define.
Chad, you got a lot of new yous.
Yes, dude. I'm going to put such a ass whooping on you for this weekend, dude.
Listen,
if I tear it off this weekend, I'm. Anyways, no. Sorry, I got excited there for a second.
Good.
I would say
you're going to need that if you want to beat me.
You better dang rights. I would say 3 months ago, I would probably say I would want to do it earlier in the round than later, just because I would want to get it out of the way and then move forward.
Was it the round or it was a station, wasn't it?
He's
in the round where I'd want it to happen in one of the first stations, I'd want it to happen early, probably the first station. If that's the only options. Early in the round. Now, I absolutely, you hit the nail on the head. It doesn't matter to me anymore. I've done enough of this studying of the brain and doing, it's all confidence. If you're hitting stuff hard, and it's just going to build confidence, and the mindset has to just be that if you miss, somebody said this to me, and I'm not going to, BP, you're good, man. So just remember this. All right. So his quote is this: you got to not care when it matters the most.
That is I've never heard that statement
If
before.
you can not care when it matters the most, you'll win.
I like it.
That's it. That's the mental. There is nothing to it more than that. And then just build the confidence. The confidence will cure it all. And if it fails, you just get back in it and get after it.
All right,
Load
David,
the gun and go.
We're putting you on a shot clock, David.
Shot clock?
Yeah, what's your answer?
I think it's more fun to me when I mess it up early.
And then challenge yourself to run it out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
like
more
that.
fun.
Agreed.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
I would rather do that than run the whole round and get to the end and be like, and then I'd walk away thinking I threw it away at the end.
Yeah, I very rarely do that. To me, and I think most other pros.
Do you just feel like it's just a miss now? It's like it's not like you threw it away. It's like, look, I just missed.
To me, it's a mismanagement of myself.
Right.
And I feel like it's never I feel like it's not a cracking under the pressure. It's not a mental mistake. It's that I assessed me wrong, and I tried to handle it poorly. I always handle it the way that I should based off of what I think I'm dealing with. And normally if I make a mistake, it's because I just didn't interpret what was going on well. But I feel like for me, and I would bet for most other people, a miss at the end of the round for a pro, I would bet is more like energy. Like if I miss at the end, it's not because I'm choking under pressure. It's more like I can't go any longer, and I'm trying to hold on and fight for it, but it's just like I lost the ability to, and that happens fairly rarely. The most common I think is in the middle, but the most fun is in the beginning.
And I'll say this: when I missed today, like I said, I missed 2 off the first station. It was not mental. I was, if you called nervous, being nervous is mental, but it wasn't. Yeah. I was excited.
Yeah.
Like Todd Simmons and I were just laughing like we get to shoot together. It's just Sean Kemner. We're just like, let's get after it.
Oh, you shot with Todd?
Yeah, it was so much fun. Best guy out there.
Yeah,
and
really is.
I missed 2, and I was like, well, I turned around, nobody's watching me. Wendell's right behind me, and he's just like looking around in the weeds, and doing whatever he's doing. And I'm like, he doesn't care if I miss. And I knew that. And is it mental? I don't know. You just get nervous, right? But I ran the next station. I ran the tower station, and I'm on a mission. I ran the Bat 2 station, and I run the next station. I'm like, it's on, dog. It's like boom. And where I missed all my targets with the score that I had was in the last 4 stations, and it wasn't because it was a mental aspect. It was
when it's mental.
It felt like I ran out of gas.
Yeah,
and it probably was because the way I'm shooting right now is 100%, probably 90% based off of energy, because I'm trying to tap into something that I'm not gonna try to subdue anymore.
You should wear one of these.
I do.
Oh,
boom.
You do?
Yeah.
Yeah, but these.
I got it. This does. You'd be surprised what this.
I
does.
have that right here.
So there you go.
I
should try that.
Now,
one.
let me ask you guys real quick before you finish up, Chad. Now, the way I took the question was, you're going to drop 4 targets on a station.
Yeah.
Is that how you guys both interpreted that as well?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
okay.
okay.
I just want to make sure.
But for me, I didn't come out of the cage and say, "Oh, I just threw it away." I just I just missed him. Get after it on the next one, And and when I've done that lately, it's rarely that I miss a target more than once. I mean, it's like almost I'm right back at it. There's no questioning. There's no trying to fix something, analyzing all this crap. I have time to do that when I'm practicing or training or whatever. This is I've done all that. Look at the target. Let's get after it. And if you don't hit it, get after it again. And I probably didn't manage the energy because it's new to me, because I'm allowing myself to come out in my shooting. And before
You're coming out, Chad?
I'm coming out.
Oh boy!
But before it was I let it come out after I'm, the just that high energy that I have. I let it come out after. I was always trying to subdue it and be this.
No, you can't do that.
This golf pro type. You got it. And this bull crap. I'm letting it rip.
Yeah.
And it's been so much fun. It's like a new chapter, and it's like eyes are open.
If you're not doing that, you're consuming energy, suppressing it.
Correct. And it's very. I can tell you right now, to answer the question a little more, I had physical energy gone today, 0 mental energy. It was so awesome
awesome.
I felt so free.
Yeah.
It was like this is my brain got about the size of David's for a second.
Oh wow, that's a lot, dude.
I just felt free, and I didn't
Just
feel
all
like I
hot
was,
air.
and that's fine. And I didn't feel like
me.
I wasn't handcuffed anymore, and I could just let it go. So it was really cool for me. So, but yeah, I like what you're saying. Doing it at the beginning and then seeing what happens.
That's fun.
It's awesome.
It's
yeah.
fun.
So
And it feels so good at the end.
Oh, dude, high five on that one.
got another question here from Matthew Harrison. It says, with Junior being so competitive with Joe, Todd, Turner, et cetera, who do you guys see coming up through the sub-junior ranks to replace these guys when they age out? And I just went and looked at the sub-juniors. Now, we've had 4 of, obviously they shot the 2-day rotation. Their scores are in. I'm looking at some of these scores, man, that these kids are turning in. My goodness, man. We got a 69 here from Carson Lingle. Jacob Judson's at a 66, tied with Caden Carter and Cody Stanford. Do you guys know these kids?
I'm pulling it up right now.
And forgive me, everyone, I don't know the sub-juniors as well as I should.
Is this the whole sub-junior group?
Yeah, this is sub-junior right here.
I know him.
Can we just say how good Score Chaser is to use?
I know, right?
This
Isn't it
nice.
so much better than old days?
And
Remember,
I feel like, oh my God.
That's something else too, guys. And I don't know, David, if we want to let this cat out of the bag yet or not.
I like letting cats out of bags.
Yeah, so we're going to be working with Score Chaser, and we're going to have live scoring available on the screen while we're at these events.
But we have it right now.
Well, no, I mean, while we're streaming live, it's going to be, you're going to have like a sidebar, David, I'm taking it or something?
there
I
now.
can do anything you want, Jason. Use your imagination.
Okay, I got a mortgage payment due. I can go through the list, my
I'm
friend.
sorry, guys, but that is now a subscription to use the live scoring for Jason.
It's gone to a good cause.
Yeah.
But no, so what I'm getting at, though, is while you're watching our stream, instead of pulling up 2 or 3 other things, you're going to be able to see it right there when we're doing live coverage.
I will say this. Let me say this. I don't know all the kids because I teach some of them, but most of mine are juniors now. They're gonna be timing out probably this year.
By the way, Ethan tore it up today.
I know.
Oh,
He's
man.
my boy.
Ethan Starks, congratulations. to
But
him.
what I will say is
He's
this:
a good dude.
the shooters coming up, because I know some of the programs like Ron Engel does down in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
The sub juniors that are going to come up and take over the game, at some point, if they stay with it, is going to either come out of Houston or Florida.
Really?
Yep, or somewhere in the southeast. Georgia, Florida.
He's saying that, but correct me if I'm wrong, Sean. I wasn't able to attend the SCTP this year, but I think Georgia won it again, didn't they?
Then that would say the
I'm not
southeast.
100%.
I think it was Forest City Gun Club.
Yep. So there you go.
That group of SCTP.
So it's
kids
going to
won
be
again,
somebody
so.
like from either Luongo, or it's going to be like
Yeah.
the Ingles, the guys that are putting 60 to 4,000 kids through their program or whatever it is, and it's
Boy,
going to
his program is amazing.
it's crazy, dude.
That's amazing.
It blows me away. Ron's is even blows me away what he's doing down in Houston.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, is that,
when you talking
I was
about?
talking about Luongo's deal with it, his club.
Yeah, same.
So it's going to be somebody from either one of those regions. We don't have that in the West Coast very much. We don't have it really in the Northeast. This Joseph Carey kid I shot with today.
Yeah.
He ran the tower.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was pretty cool, man. If you missed one, I didn't see it because he was hammering them.
Wow.
And I followed. And I was like, man, I better step it up, man. And it was cool to watch. So, a lot of talent out there.
Yeah.
Our big gig right now. We were at the EC meeting, delegate meeting last night. As I think just figuring out how to retain these kids long term.
Yeah. I think that's definitely going to be a challenge. I mean, you look at the standouts like. Joe Finizzi, Turner Parcell, Todd Hitch, they've endured schooling and been able to stay in the sport.
They endured girls you mean, in cars?
With the fumes, perfume and race fuel, right? So, but no, it's one of those things that it's a tough thing because the purse strings are cut. Mom and dad aren't buying shells and targets anymore, and we've talked about it a million times. But I think that's going to be your hardest target audience is that 20 to 35 range, If we could figure it out, it'd be great. I think, honestly, just my own personal opinion, David, you and I have briefly touched on this. Sean and I talked about it a lot. I think if the purses are there so that there's some money to stay in it, I think you'll see that age group staying in it a little longer. Right now, we shoot for trophies. I mean, don't get me wrong. There is some money shoots here and there, but I think that's going to help with some of the expense of doing this sport. Looks like Bill wants you to do some work here, David. They want to see the grounds.
Man, I keep
vendors.
getting signed up for work.
I know. He's got nothing else to do. We're going to put him.
I got nothing else to do.
I know.
Yeah,
But I want to answer that question because actually Matt Harrison's son is one of the kids that could possibly do that. And here's the reality of it is, the answer to that question is, there's a lot of kids that I've seen that have an insane amount of talent and passion and ability and support from their parents. And I can speak towards this being where I grew up. And, probably the same thing I know that you didn't grow up shooting this game, Chad, but like with your students that were kids where you now work, or even in the past, I'm sure it was the same thing, but there's just certain areas of the country where you're just so massively disadvantaged, and being able to actually take advantage of all of those qualities that I just mentioned. And growing up competing in the game as a kid, I was like the only one from up north that had a potential to do anything,
To break out.
Yeah, and the only reason why I was able to do that was because I literally,
because you're the only one.
Because my parents and we would just travel a lot, and you have to go if you want to replace those names right now in juniors. You can't do it staying home.
Yeah.
Get no matter where you live, you have to do it by coming to these shoots. You have to do it by going to the regionals. You have to do it. It's about that, and you can't. There's just no other way around that.
Yeah, and I think you take somebody like Hunter Webb, where his dad has given him the opportunity to go out and. He's with Brandon. He's on the tour. He lived with Brandon for a while. He really invested into his kid being somebody within the sport. Right. And I think, it just, you can develop that talent when you have that stuff. So
well, it's one of those things too. We've talked about it too, Sean, over on the podcast. Is this sport is not like soccer or football where you're just dropping a kid off at practice and they have a coach. Yes, there is coaching, but 90% of the time when little Tommy or Susie want to practice, it's mom or dad taking them to the range and spending the time with them. And, the one unfortunate thing that we can't control in this sport is the expense. And it can get expensive. Targets and ammo are not cheap. The guns can run from $1,500 to $150,000 depending on what you want. So, But I think the development in what the kids learn from being an SCTP and shooting in these youth groups and stuff, and having mentors like, you brought up Mike Luongo, even Chad and David, believe it or not. I know it's scary, folks, but they really are good guys. So, but having that mentorship and watching the kid develop and grow, I remember little Joe Finizzi was 16 years old. Wasn't he 16 when he won the Northeast? Or that was Todd Hitch.
Tom
the one
C.
that Todd Hitch
but
won
Tom
the Northeast Regional at Cardinal Center in 19. I think
Tom C. won one in 14 or something.
Did he really?
No, it wasn't that early, was it?
I'm pretty sure. It was
it
first
that
or
long
second
ago?
year. It was the Northeast Regional at Hopkins the
well,
first
I remember,
time. So that was a
he
long
won
time
it,
ago.
but I didn't think it
wow.
was that long
Okay.
ago. But okay,
I think it was well,
he killed it though. He was a sub, or
He was a little dude.
he was little.
Well, I think he was 15.
Yeah.
Really?
So there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Tom C. at 15 is the average human being about 75 years old. Would
Wow.
you agree? Would you agree?
It's just a visual right there. Yes.
Can you see a little bit of Tom and David and you and I, or vice versa?
I'm not going to touch that.
So
all right.
I like so David, you got to do some pictures and stuff at some point on the ammo barns and all that. I hope we can do that. I mean, we should be able to do some.
Well, tomorrow after I'm done shooting, I'll take the cameras around and I can make some stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
as far as the hardest targets, that's going to come on Sunday when we watch the Super Squad finish up on the.
he said
blue
fun.
course.
Oh, I'm sorry. There, tell us about the hardest. We
And
can
the
tell you
most
what
fun.
we shot today. So we shot the yellow today. Would you say? Man, that's kind of a weird one because there was a couple gotcha stations out there that if you didn't do it just
On
right,
yellow?
yeah,
No doubt in my mind it was Station 3.
yeah, that tower station was.
Did it go behind the tree for you?
Yeah, well, right after you shot it, your squad shot it.
Yeah.
Somebody protested. The guy came over, the course manager guy, and he watched our squad because I shot my first target super late and behind a tree.
Yeah.
And he called it dead. She wrote it 0, and he's like, no, it was dead.
Oh, I mean the tree in the middle.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what
it's not really in the middle, David.
Well,
it
when
was
you
off
said
to the right.
super, no, there was a tree in the middle that it was so low that it would go behind, and then it would hit the opening when it would start to fall. And then
Oh
go behind
yeah.
that tree.
That was the same kind of situation. So that was it not 4? Because 3 was the tower.
No, that was Station 3, the tower.
The
when
tower?
I shot the tower, my second pair and fourth pair, they were. It was. I couldn't believe I hit them. They were so low and because of that wind blowing them out that I was shooting them behind that tree.
Yeah, so that little gap there. So what they did right after you got done, somebody protested. The guy come over, watched our squad, and then they took the chair, the trapper chair,
stand.
and put it on the other side so she could see him.
Oh, that'd be fair. Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. So, but that was probably the hardest one in my opinion. What did you think of the Batu station?
Hard. Honest to God, I thought every station was hard.
It did feel that way, didn't it?
But that's just the way that I am.
Well, because they were slow and big.
We got to wrap it up.
I think so. I think they're trying to to close us out of here.
We're getting busted out of here.
Yes. Thank you very much to the NSCA for tolerating us for the weekend, and appreciate the use of the museum. Again, to recap real quick, David, we're going to be live again tomorrow, Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday, 6:30 Central. We'll be back tomorrow night with more guests and more coverage of the Top Gun shootout. Saturday, again, more guests, more shooters, and coverage of the North versus South. And then Sunday, we're hoping to do a press conference with the top 3 men and top 3 ladies. So, and we might even get some juniors in here too, David. I think that'd be a good idea if we can.
Yeah.
Understand, people, that when this event's over, it's like herding cats, as Sean likes to put it. Is they get done shooting and they scatter.
Well, that's because we're letting them out of the bags.
I know, right? So we need bigger bags. We need some bigger burlap bags, Con. You made this nice Champions Network cloth for us, or tablecloth for us. Can you get us like a big human bag?
I can work on like a body bag? Or?
Yeah, like a body bag.
Oh, okay.
But you got to make it breathable. We don't want them to.
Oh, okay.
We're not trying to kill them or anything.
My brain hurts.
So it's this is why Chad's only on occasion. So, but no, thank you everyone for joining us. Don't forget, you can still write in the comment section to us tomorrow or the whole weekend. So if you have any questions for the pros that we're going to have on, the only one we know for 100% certain is Neil Chadwick right now. We are working on some shooters, and hopefully bring you guys some really good coverage. Sean, thank you for sitting in this weekend. Chad, thank you for coming and visiting with us.
Yes, sir.
David, thank you for all your nerd ability here, because I could never have pulled this off. We thought we were big time buying a little video camera, and he's got more.
This
over
is
there.
really just all stuff I have for my photography stuff.
He's got more in that computer over there than I have in my house. So
It's a lot. It's a lot.
But I'm a lot.
but then again,
Just looking at all this, I don't even know how you'd pack it up and keep it all straight, David, to be
Yeah,
honest
can
with
you imagine that?
When we're done with this.
he's got no kid, no mortgage. You understand now.
I get it.
But no,
Still
seriously,
no less impressive, though.
thank you, everyone, for joining us. Julia, please don't yell at us too much when this is over with. We hope we did you proud.
The look in your face was so sincere when you said
Just please don't yell at me. I got a Julia at home that yells at me, or Jules, I should say. But thank you, everyone, for joining us. We appreciate it. We look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow night on the Champions Network.
Very cool. Thank you, guys.